Thank you for joining us for Live Paranormal Radio. From the paranormal to the unexplained, it all happens here. It all happens here. Looking to enhance your radio experience? Participate in our live video chat 24/7 with our Live Paranormal Radio show hosts and other like-minded people. LiveParanormal.com, the only interactive social chat room supported by Full Interaction Media. Stop by now and join the fun.
Hello, everybody. This is Niki ParaUnNormal, and you are listening to Paranormal Spotlight Radio on LiveParanormal.com. For any of you who are listening on the other platform, head on over to LiveParanormal.com. If you create a login, you can join. There's a tab for that, and you can join us in the live interactive chat room where we are just waiting with open arms to welcome you to the Live Paranormal community. You can listen to the show from there. You can also join in the chat, which is ever exciting because I have my webcam on, and I am pretty well known for making faces. So you might want to come in, check it out. That's LiveParanormal.com. Create a login, and then hit the radio player and chat. And you can check out the insanity that will be my funny faces. And you know, we've got a pretty interesting show in the works this evening. Rob from Live Paranormal, Mr. Live Paranormal, the most amazing, most wonderful, most fantastical guy, is my the host of the show. And then I've got a pretty darn amazing guest who is just like absolutely fantastic. I absolutely adore this man. And that would be John Tenney, who is our guest tonight. And he is just absolutely awesome. Once you meet him in person, he'll leave you intrigued. He will leave you asking questions that I still don't know the answers to, much like that is the paranormal. He is just such a complex, fascinating man. And many of you know him from the show, from TV, Ghost Stalkers, or, his internet website that is Weird Lectures. And he's just a fantastical guy. But I'm going to go ahead and bring the most amazing, fantastical, wonderful owner of Live Paranormal on, Rob. Howdy.
Hey, how are you?
Hi. I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm tired, though, too. I spent all day doing a promotional tour for the Live Paranormal SuperCon, which John Tenney will be appearing at this Friday and Saturday. And it was draining. I had to be on my A game, and Erie is about an hour and 45 minutes from my house, and you're driving an hour and 45 and then doing a promotional tour and then coming back. It's kind of a draining day. I'm
sure. You're not used to that, right? I mean, that's a lot of time in the car for you. I mean, I know that many people don't know where you're at, but he's about 5 minutes from, like, absolutely everything on the planet. So he will tend to do some of his phone calls from the road. And, they better fit in that window. And if you don't answer the first time you get a call, well, then you're probably in trouble, mister. So for him to be in the car for that long, see, for me, that's a normal drive. That's like my drive to Target. Okay, so I'm sure that was draining, but you probably hit some traffic, didn't you? Do you have any traffic going that direction?
I did. Cleveland right now is real difficult through downtown, and we have something called Dead Man's Curve. And they're on top of being called Dead Man's Curve, which is just like its normal name, they're doing construction on Dead Man's Curve.
Oh, wow.
So
isn't that fabulous?
Like the double whammy. It's not pretty. So coming home, I was able to restructure the lineup while I was in the car for the SuperCon because I was just at a standstill. So I think
that's amazing.
It might have been beneficial.
You do a schedule, and like I would choose to do my eyebrows.
My eyebrows are okay, and if they're not, I was already on TV today, so too late.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that'd be too little too late.
Too little too late for sure, and you are correct. Being, I do call you, and I admit I apologize. I'll call you and be like,
you give a sentence and then you hang up. You go, gotta go. I'm there already, and I'm like, where do you live?
And
I just can't understand that.
what you would think about this idea if, I've got some ideas for the Paranormal Supercon, and then by the time I'm done saying, hey, I've got some ideas for the Paranormal Supercon, unfortunately, I have to get out of the car.
Yeah.
So
it's true, people. It's true. This has been a very interesting last year discussing anything related to the SuperCon, because it pretty much gets as far as, I've got some ideas for the SuperCon. I'm here. I go, okay, yeah.
I can't complain because I'm conveniently located by everything I need access to. So.
See, and I can't complain because, you see, I'm inconveniently accessed, like, everything. And that takes me, like, the closest place I have is 7-Eleven. And that probably takes a good 10 minutes. And everything else is at least, let's see, the grocery store is 15 minutes. And then everything else is 45 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes away. So I'm used to being in the car. So there's a lot of things I can do while in the car where you're like 2 seconds, got to go by.
Well, at least you can get your Slurpee fix. But it looks like our guest, John Tenney, is on the line, so we should bring him on. And you already have given him a fantastic introduction, and unfortunately he was not able to hear it, but he's going to take our word for it that it was fantastic. So
it was pretty fantastic. I got to say.
It was great. Hey, John, are you there? That's because
the man's easy to beat. He is fantastic. Hi, John.
Hi. I will believe you that it was fantastic.
Oh,
it was.
It was so much better than normal, let me tell you. Because my introductions that she gives me are so awful. No, I'm just kidding. We have an ongoing joke, like, every single week.
It's only funny to him.
It started like 4 weeks ago. And I don't know if she was mad at me or what the deal was, but she's like, yeah, let's bring Rob on. And I was like, okay, that's kind of different production. And then the week after, she said I was some kind of lovely or something. It was real awkward.
Oh, yeah, I dropped a lovely. So he was really loving that one right there.
I'm pretty sure lovely, I know it's probably accurate. I don't think a lot of people would think of me as lovely. So we've been working on the introductions, and they've been getting better. But it seems like for the guests, they're spot on. When we have a guest,
I appreciate the term lovely. If someone's describing me, I like charming and dashing.
Ooh, very good. I said you were absolutely fascinating. You left me with that question. I still can't figure out where that dollar went. I'm still wondering about this from Scarefest, about the dollar.
We can talk.
Dude,
you will be in Erie, Pennsylvania this weekend, will you not?
Yes, I guess I will be. Yes. So I hear.
We will discuss it then.
Yes. I hope I find out where this dollar went, because seriously, like, it stuck with me. That's like the legend story there for Scarefest was where's the dollar? So, but that's not the only thing that you do. You do lots of fantastic things.
Thanks.
I think you do.
Right.
Sorry, I thought you guys popped out for a second.
No, we're sneaky.
Oh.
Yep. We're ninjas.
Well, yeah, it's definitely it's great. I'm glad you decided to call in tonight and agreed to call in tonight, because it's always a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm excited to see you in 3 days. I'm excited to see you guys. I'm excited to see everybody. It's like a fantastic lineup. It's going to be unbelievable. I think so too, but like I always say, if I were to say it's kind of a crappy lineup, then what the hell kind of production would I be putting on? I'm biased.
Right.
Like, it's all right. Yeah, like, I don't know. I guess I want to see the people. It's all right. You would think, man, that guy's not putting on a quality event, or he's a poor salesman. And I tend not to think I'm a poor salesman, but who would openly say they're bad at something? So, we're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to watching you go in, speak, and me not being able to enjoy it, which is the downside of having your own event, is you can't enjoy anything. Obviously I'll enjoy.
You can enjoy running around. You can try and enjoy running around and corralling everybody, making sure everything goes off without a hitch.
Right. Doing and what people don't understand. We're at last year's event is I don't sit down. I make my rounds every 20 minutes inside the vending room. I go to every vendor. If they're not, servicing someone, I'm not going to be in, take away from possible sales. But, I walk around and make sure everyone's got what they need, or if they have any problems. And, I've had a couple people tell me it's a little cold in here, and then I just give them a weird look and walk away. So, there's nothing I can do about that.
That Karen concern for everybody makes you very lovely.
It does make me lovely. So maybe it is an accurate description. It's something I should put on my cards. I will finally produce a paranormal business card. Everyone asks me, do you have a paranormal business card? I'm like, no, you just find me on Live Paranormal, click the contact button. So maybe I will. And put lovely. Put a little heart on it.
Be lovely. You have to put the lovely. That way it's full circle. Be lovely. That's part of your title.
Well, I always like to add the to anything because I think it kind of classes it up. Anytime you add the instead of the, it just gives it a little bit of extra, little class. And I'm all about class and classing the place up. So, people have been mispronouncing it, the Paranormal Supercon. It's actually the Paranormal Supercon because it's just, it makes it a little bit more dashing, I guess you would say. But, I guess we got off on a tangent of not talking about anything that was relevant to anything.
We're talking about the convention. That's pretty relevant.
I think that's good.
Pretty much. I think so, too. And it's a lovely convention.
It is lovely. Where I was going with this is that I will not be able to hear you talk. I'll be able to watch you walk into the room and make sure you're situated, and then I will exit. And I think that's...
Well, you might not be able to see my lecture, but I mean, I love talking, so at some point you're gonna have to hear me talk because once I start, I can't stop.
Well, as people know, I'm a bit of a talker myself, so that I've been known to talk at that, so it'll be good. And we have the function at Friday night, so we can just hang out there and talk and have fun and laugh. And you can tell I actually was. I know where Niki's going with that because I was there for the same. I don't know if you would. Is that a joke or whatever the proper term would be? But it leaves you thinking. So I guess it's not a joke, but.
Oh, it's just a weird logic problem that I learned a long time ago, and all of it will be. I'll explain it all. I'll actually throw it in my lecture too.
Ooh,
well, that would
see, okay, Rob, I'm off during his lecture because I'm going to have to go. This has been like almost a whole year now of me wondering what in the hell the dollar went. Like, I got to know. I'm sorry. Talk my pay, Rob. I'm going in.
What's nice about this is we're actually giving away like a little tidbit of what you can get at the Paranormal Supercon, but we're not actually elaborating on it enough where people are kind of intrigued about what are these people talking about. But you'll find out if you come to the event. So you can buy your tickets now through Thursday on the ParanormalSupercon.com, and you can buy tickets at the door, too, to find out what we're talking about. So I think that was an inevitable mention there. It was a perfect segue. But so what are you going to do? Well, besides coming to this lovely event, obviously that's the highlight of your June, but for July. So for July on, what else do you have? At the end of July, August, September, you got any projects you can talk about or anything that
I am like the worst person to do my own promotion. Like I jokingly asked on Facebook for an assistant because like when I book events or even when I'm out and someone asks me what I'm doing, like I just tell them to go to Weird Lectures because I keep them all on my website. You would think I'd have a calendar on my computer, but like as soon as I book something, I put it on my website and then I know it's always there, like out in the internet because my computer crashes so often. At least I can look at it somewhere else. But I have, there's some events coming up all through August, September, and October. I think there's even a couple in November, and everybody can check them out at weirdlectures.com/events. And I'm doing at the end of this month, actually, I'm doing one of my creepy coffees, which is where, I started out years and years ago just with a bunch of weirdos sitting around in a restaurant until all wee hours of the morning drinking coffee and talking about weird stuff. And so still to this day, I try and do that a few times a year, which is I just invite everybody to have coffee and talk about weird stuff.
I want coffee and talk about weird stuff.
People show up. It's really fun because
I'm like, where am I going? Like, cause that's right up my alley. Two things I love: coffee and weird stuff.
Right. I mean, it's really cool because it really is just kind of that camaraderie that you can get. It's kind of only sitting around late at night drinking coffee. And people can float in and out. It's not really an event. I'm just going out for dinner, and then I invite everybody else to come and have coffee and hang out. And so, sometimes it goes from 9 o'clock at night until 5 in the morning. Sometimes everybody's gone by midnight because it's a weekday and they have to work. But at least they can come and, exchange weird stories. They don't have to feel weird about the things that they're talking about. There's still a stigma attached to everything that we do. And I think that this is one of those things like your event and things like my creepy coffee. And I think that's one of those ways that we can break down the stigma of, that this is strange what's happening. The majority of people have strange things happen to them. It's just being willing to talk about it openly that will get us somewhere.
Well, and I think that's a valid point. And I think it's become less taboo than it was 10 years ago. And, I think, being more mainstream does kind of help, bring it out to, people. And that's the part that I like about the SuperCon is, and why we've decided to kind of keep it as a lecture first production is that, we had people come out and thank me for, maybe opening their eyes or having a question answered or, and some of these you can't answer their questions fully because no one knows the answer to it, but you can at least, put some ideas in their head and make them feel better. And there's a rewarding aspect to that. There as much as it's fun to essentially sneak around at night in the dark, there's nothing rewarding that comes from that as, maybe just a fun event for, investigating. But I think the most rewarding part is definitely when people come up to you like, hey, thanks for putting this on because of, your lectures, and I was able to have a platform to talk about stuff I had going on. And, you're right, you can't just always go up to somebody and say, hey, I have this going on, or this strange thing's happening, or this paranormal thing's going on, because it's not always well received. But
for sure, and I've told people for years and years, when I do my lectures, they're very open and they're very not really much lectures as much as they are kind of almost open discussion groups, because I want people to tell me their stories. I want people to, if I say something wrong or if I say something incorrect, to fix what I'm saying. When I'm at a table at a convention, I love to hear people's stories. There's a lot of people who get annoyed with listening to people's stories. Part of my job is knowing how people think, what their ideas are, what their experiences have been, how they deal with their experiences. That's how I grow my body of ideas that I have about all of this high strangeness that people experience.
Well, and I think that's, I applaud the stuff that you do, and even like your at your convention, when you do your convention tables, very welcoming. Yeah, I don't think you charge for anything, correct? I
usually don't bring merch with me. I usually don't like that. I know that people have to do it, and they have to, make money somehow or another. And every now and then I'll bring, a T-shirt or a poster design or something to sell. But I really feel like if you have, dozens and hundreds of items in front of you that you're selling, I think it creates a wall between you and the people at the convention. They feel like they have to buy something. They don't, they feel like they have to. They're wasting your time if they just stand at your table, talk to you, and they don't buy all of this stuff that's in front of them. And it works for me. I really don't like selling merch, so it helps that I don't have a ton of it to sell, or that I'll do limited edition stuff. That way, once I've sold 100 of, a certain poster, I never have to sell that poster again. I don't have to worry about it. But also, having a table where it's just me sitting at it, it allows people to kind of wander over and say, oh, hi, who are you, if they don't know me, or, oh, hi, I've been waiting to talk to you. And there's a kind of openness that's generated by not having a wall of merchandise in front of you.
So are you bringing any merchandise to the SuperCon? I know people want to know.
I literally have like 5 T-shirts, and then I have maybe a dozen or 24 posters from past events. The Stanley event, I have a Realm of the Weird poster, and then I have these kind of short-run posters that I did for friends of mine, which is like my face made up of Ouija boards. But I think that's all I have.
Well, I think you just opened up with saying that you only have 5 shirts because it's going to be almost like a Black Friday.
I was going to say, dude, if people don't have a VIP ticket, they better get it now because these 5 shirts are going to go. They're going to be hot. Okay, they need to get in there early.
Talk about unleashing the dogs on that one. People are like all smashed up against the glass trying to peer in to see if there's glass. It's gonna be man.
It's gonna be like the wedding dress, like when they have the wedding dress for. And it's gonna be like that fight, the battle where the women are like, it's mine.
I'm just hoping the fire marshal's not listening right now because it's gonna be bad.
Well, it's funny. It's like I said. I know that people have to do what they have to do. I have no problem with them doing it. It's just at a certain point, it becomes really almost frustrating to me. I did an event a few years ago, and Chris Hemsworth was there, who plays Thor in the Thor movies, and he was, charging to sign a picture, and he was charging $220 per signature. And I'm thinking, and I was thinking to myself, this is a millionaire who's charging $200 for a photograph. And I mean, you don't talk to him. You walk up in line, someone asks you your name, he signs a photograph of himself, hands it to another person, and they hand it to you for $220. And it's just stuff like that. It just gets a little bit out of control sometimes, I think.
Yeah, it does. And I think there's 1 or 2 people at every convention that you can see do that, and it's nice that at least the people we have coming to our convention are very welcoming to their fans or friends or people who know them.
Yeah, and absolutely, like I said, I don't have a problem with people doing it. I understand that people have to pay bills. I have to pay bills. I have to figure out how to do it in my own way. I just feel a lot of times, the reason I do Creepy Coffees and Creepy Conies, I try and do one of those free events, or I do a library lecture. My library lectures are always free, or my school lectures are always free. Every event that has a ticket price that I attend, sometime later in the year I do a free event to offset that price, just because I know that people can't pay ticket prices to go to every event.
Very true.
So what you said what was the second one you named? You said there's something else besides the coffee.
Oh, sometimes I don't drink coffee. Sometimes I'll invite people to eat Coney Islands, and so I call that Creepy Conies.
It would go well with my whole spiel of why Cleveland has the best stadium. You knew it was coming.
Oh, I thought you were going to go there with the bologna.
No. Well, that's another thing. Okay. Niki does not like bologna, and we have I don't know if you're familiar with the Iron Chef, but we have Michael Simon has this restaurant, and it's 10 doors down from my office, and he makes fried bologna sandwiches. It's the B spot. Mm-hmm. Burgers, brats, and bologna, and they're I don't know if you ever see the canned cranberries, how thick and
we have a B spot in my hometown.
Well, there you go. So and what do you think about the bologna? I think we're going to bring Niki a sandwich because she
gosh.
Bologna. And
I loved bologna when I was a kid. I'm a vegetarian now, but I loved bologna when I was a kid. My dad used to make fried bologna sandwiches all the time, and I used to think they were awesome.
It's a Midwest thing, I think.
For sure.
but the
But then that's it. I'm not the Midwest. I'm the East Coast girl, so I really can't go there. You see, it would be against the grain for my geographical.
I will bring you a bottle of the Burtman's mustard. I don't know if you're familiar with Burtman's mustard, but it'll change your thinking when it comes to keep eating hot dogs. But what you should do is, if you're looking to make a lot of sales, you should do a talk with some kind of boozy or something. That would be great because people would then open up their wallets and stuff more if they were drinking. That'd be a third option for you. I always like to leave something for my guests to take away that possibly they could use to
business venture, if you will.
It is. Every single week I give somebody something.
And I'm still waiting for mine. And you know what? I get ignored. He gives all these brilliant ideas to everybody else, and I'm just one day I'll get
mine. Calling into the show, and one day I'll give Niki hers. So she'll have to call in as a guest, not as a host. So I'll give you a quick rundown. It's Chip Coffey was talking about how he loves socks and scarves, which we all know, and we figured that he should take his, when you put your socks in the washer, sometimes you only come out with one. and then you're essentially screwed. You have to throw that sock away. And I told him what you should do is bring those to the convention and sell single socks to your fans. And I think he'd make a killing. And then, with Dustin last week, he does all of his quotes, and I told him he should come up with one of those calendars that, you put on your wall and you peel off every day. And so you could have like a Dustin-ism or something every day, and people peel it off. It's like Dustin word of the day. So
it sounded like a medical condition, a Dustinism. Is that like an aneurysm?
I wasn't titling it. My title was not spot on, but the whole concept is fantastic.
A friend of mine and myself, whenever we encounter Dustin, it's our destiny instead of destiny. It's our destiny.
So there we go. Now we just named it. It's the Destiny calendar, and we're gonna have to.
Destination Destiny. Love it. Could be a movie.
If you were to add a third option, which if you're not a drinker, come up with some kind of booze or beer related option, and that could be your third one that you do.
At Scarefest when you had, I had 3 cases of weird water that were. I designed all of the labels for them and everything. They were made sure to not contain any government mind-controlling chemicals. They were guaranteed to help keep you hydrated when you were hunting for Bigfoot, chasing UFOs, or looking for ghosts.
Love it.
I do remember that. And the weird thing is, so the past events I've seen you at, I've been at your table the same time that one of your followers has come and asked you to sign their bottle of water that year. You had already signed it for the new year. And I don't know what it is with my timing, but I encounter that signature every single time. So it must just very, very strange. But
stalking them?
Could be. It could be. Maybe I'm just always at your table. Always eyeballing. Which was hard not to do last year because we were literally across from each other.
I know.
Yeah, I had to keep averting my eyes so people didn't know about our secret crushes.
Right. That was one thing and then we didn't want people to know. And I kept, looking away, and I looked down at my shoe and looking up, and it was awkward. that and your
almost as awkward as being on this right here along with y'all.
Well, I'll tell you, the worst part of being across from you was your banner kept falling last year. And I'd look over your banner would be like half on, and I just
if someone could figure out how to make a banner that doesn't fall down or crease or like can be hung properly, that you'd be a billionaire, because mine is a disaster. Everybody that I go to they have duct tape all behind it and on it. Like no one's figured out a banner that actually like can hang and not be a disaster.
There has to be like a banner stand that you can make that does not fit behind you, but affixes to the table somehow, or like have the legs slide under.
Thank you. I got my idea. Thank you. Now I finally can leave and walk away a millionaire.
I think we're going to delete this archive and kind of fine-tune it at the SuperCon and then come out with a great product, because
I'll have it done by the end of the night. I'll work on the trademark paperwork tonight.
Right.
I'll beat you to it.
We could do like a marketing show.
I know, really. People just tune in and have brilliant ideas. I mean, you forgot one of the most genius.
Right, you call in, I give you your marketing idea, and
what about the ghost soap on a rope? Hello.
Yeah, that was the week before. Samantha Hawes, she makes soap as a side business, but she makes no soap that actually has anything to do with ghosts or ghost hunting. I'm like, man, you're really dropping the ball with that. And it went from a soap mold to, I thought would be fantastic, was a soap on a rope. So like a ghost soap on a rope, it should make a killing.
Billion.
Yeah, you could sell a lot of them. I have a friend here in Michigan who does craft soaps, and they're super awesome. And when his Halloween ones come out, like he has like a Waverly Hills soap. He has a poltergeist soap. He has a grave dirt soap. And I mean, they're awesome. They're super fantastic.
But they're not on a rope.
Well, maybe you can incorporate that idea with them. Boom.
Yeah. Another one. Their flow. I think the Ghost Soap on a Rope is just...
Talk about weird lectures. This is going to be your weird business opportunity reference. Go ahead.
Right.
I'm telling you, a lot of people don't know, but, what I did professionally before I quit and did this full-time was I was in advertising from the 90s up until the mid-2000s, and I had to leave. I couldn't do advertising marketing anymore. It was sucking the life out of me.
Well, you can't be on a radio show then.
Oh, my God.
Oh, so, I think what I wanted to bring up is we all enjoyed your show, Ghost Stalkers. That was great. I was glad to see, I was happy to see you succeed and have that, out there so you could share your passion with people. And I keep seeing on Twitter, though, like it's broadcasting in different areas and stuff. So It's kind of cool to see how broad it's gone throughout the world.
Yeah, it's really crazy because
I didn't even realize they had TV.
Yeah, it's crazy because the whole concept when Nick came to me and when he and I and Chad sat around and rolled it around, the entire concept for Ghost Stalkers was supposed to be just a long documentary. It was supposed to be 3 locations, but one episode, just broken into 3 parts. And when we got to our 3rd location and we're wrapping up, they asked us to make 3 more, and we thought, this will be two kind of long extended documentaries. And then when everything was edited and put together, and they started seeing it, the network was like, we love this as a show. We're going to break it into 6 individual parts. I mean, I like Ghost Stalkers for as much as I could like a paranormal show. I'm not a huge fan of paranormal shows. I think most people know that. I have my issues with how they eventually end up on television. I've never been quiet about my criticisms of my own show. I've always called out the things that I didn't like about it. But it was really amazing when it left Destination America and went to Discovery International, and they started showing it in South America and in Japan and France and England. I thought that was really amazing. I kept seeing the graphics, and it was called something different in every place that it aired. So, if you got on Twitter, instead of searching Ghost Stalkers, if you search Le Portales hacia la Muerta, which is what it was called in South America and in Mexico, which was the doorways toward death. Or, in Japan, it translated into sneaking up on ghosts, which I thought was really funny. But, yeah, it was just so awesome to see it go reaching out to, a huge worldwide community.
Definitely. I love the show. You actually, during one of the episodes, you went to a place where I used to work, Springfield Hospital Center. So that was really awesome, especially, to have been at Scarefest to kind of get the preview. And then when there was a little...
You're breaking up a second. Let me get upstairs. You started to turn into a robot voice. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'm going to try and get up high because you still sound like a robot to me. I'm going to go and lay upstairs. Are you there? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I hear you. Fantastic. I heard a little bit as you were moving around, but...
Yeah, I can't hear you guys very well at all. You sound like robots.
Let
me call you right back, see if I can get a different connection.
Okay.
And we will be right back with John Tenney. So, Niki, I think it's great that John Tenney has called in. I think SuperCon is going to be fantastic, especially with such great people speaking. And in case you didn't catch it, I think both of us really enjoy John Tenney, and he's just a great guy and a great lecturer. So he puts it.
He is, and for those of you who aren't aware, I put his website link, some of his website links within the chat here at LiveParanormal.com. For those of you who are listening elsewhere, head on over to LiveParanormal.com and join us in the interactive chat where you can listen and join in the chat. And I'm going to go ahead and add in his links again. And I'm telling you, this website, weirdlectures.com, it's just got some of the most interesting information. I absolutely love his website because I like weird stuff. Everybody knows that. I'm not normal, so I'm all about, anything where I can find weird stuff. And so I put that within the chat room once again, weirdlectures.com. Everyone should head over and check it out because I just adore it. And, you know, John's got a YouTube channel that cracks me up. Whenever I'm having a bad day, I have to remind myself to head over because there's one particular little clip on there that really relates, I know, to my life, where he was doing his voiceovers for Ghost Stalkers. And it was like, it was a blooper reel, I guess, you know, and it was like real life to me because it was like every time he got ready to talk, like something happened that totally messed up what he was doing. And it's just so funny because I've been in that same.
Well,
I just
back.
could really relate, and it was just refreshing. Hi, John.
Hi, sorry.
We
no,
didn't
you're
lose you,
fine.
so
I was just telling everyone how you make me happy.
That blooper reel is one of the funniest things, and I have hours
of
it.
I love it. Oh, my gosh. Well, you need to release some more because let me just tell you, I could so relate. It makes me laugh every time I go look. And I could be having a really bad day. I should have done that earlier and gone and watched it because it just, I crack up because I've done some voiceover work, and when I go to do it, and even do anything, I run into the same problems, you know, the loud car or whatever, or, you know, you say something and then it's just like, oh my God, it sounds so weird. And then you go back and you listen and it's just, yeah, I absolutely adore it.
And like I said, I have hours of it because when we were doing the narration, when Chad and I were doing the narration from Ghost Stalkers, we were doing it at our homes. And so I have a little recording studio in my house. It's not soundproofed or anything. And we would actually do the narration for the shows about probably within 30 hours of the show airing on television. So it was just like this constant barrage of trying to get it done, you know, by the time the show aired and rewriting it on the fly for things that didn't sound right. And so it became this massively traumatic thing when I had to record in a house, in a neighborhood at, you know, 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon when everyone's coming home from work. And so it was just frustration upon frustration upon frustration.
And I could so relate because I live right on a major road. So it's like as soon as you think you've got that, and I would do mine like 5 o'clock in the morning, like 5 to 5:15. I could try to piece in like as much as I could fit in 15 minutes because it was the only like quiet time. And even then, there'd be something like really, really weird that would happen, and you know, capture it on the and like deleted it. Instead, I should have saved them all because I probably would have made myself laugh. If you can laugh at yourself, you know, like after the fact.
Make yourself laugh is the only thing that matters.
Absolutely. Even though you can. I mean, I do say some pretty funny things in my bloopers, but there's a couple. The one that I posted is the completely closest I could have done to a safe for work version because the next hour and a half, I am dropping the worst. I don't even know how I piecemealed together some of the obscenities.
I do that on the regular as well. Yeah, so I can relate. Sometimes I impress myself with the amount of words I'm able to string together.
I don't know how we don't have to put like an R rating on our show and explicit adult because I don't know how she holds back. But like talking to her, like when we're trying to do the SuperCon stuff, and I'll bounce off ideas from her, and it'll be like if you were to take the recording, it would just be beeps. There would be like
it would be
and then you'd get like
dirtiest sailor's mouth times 12.
Right, and a and then a bunch of beeps and another. Well, I think, and then a bunch of beeps. It's just, and then on air it's a completely different thing. It's bizarre.
I thought, speaking about Ghost Stalkers being in different countries, I thought it was really funny because in South America our episodes were dubbed, and so Chad sounds a lot like Speedy Gonzalez, and I sound a lot like Ricardo Montalban. But the dubbed versions of Ghost Stalkers are bleeped for when we swear, and I thought it was funny that they didn't just not write the swear word for the artists to dub the voiceover. They actually had them swear and then beep it out, which I thought was interesting.
They were true to life. They read the script very well. That's what happened. They read it very well. That's funny.
That's an in-depth thought that probably not a lot of people would have picked up on. So I definitely appreciate that. And now my mind is blown, so we should probably just call them.
Well, now I want to like Google it so I can hear it for myself because I absolutely loved the show. I thought it was fantastic. You know, you guys went to somewhere where I actually used to work, Springfield Hospital Center, in Statesville, Maryland. So, you know, when I saw the little episode premiere at, you know, Scarefest, and then I actually kind of thought I might know just because I have the pleasure of being friends with some of you guys on social media, and I was like, what are you doing in my neck of the woods? And they were like, I'm not there. And I'm like, yeah, you are. And they said, I'm just driving through. And I'm like, okay. And then the next day, I'm like, you're still there. Like, you're lying to me. You're up to something. No, I'm not. I'm like, yeah, right. And then I find out. They're like, I couldn't say anything. And I'm like, yeah, I thought that was funny. But, you know, I used to work there. And actually, I used to go in those buildings. And people used to send me in by myself. And I'd go in, no problem. And they'd stand outside kind of watching me. Because they used to store records in those buildings. So.
Absolutely. And, you know, Springfield was one that I actually had like a historical issue with because we were only on site for, I think, 4 days. And, like, the little bit of information that I had read up and researched for the episode, a lot of that didn't even make it into the episode. And there was some stuff about Springfield that I didn't feel should have even been in the episode. But this, you know, again, I've never been quiet about my unhappiness with the way certain things come out. I'm glad that people got to see it. But, you know, I do get annoyed when I see something, even on my own show, that I know isn't right.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm very vocal about my feelings on things as well. And sometimes it's well received and sometimes it's not. But you know what? It's coming out anyway.
She means she's very beeping vocal.
That's right.
The accurate description of that was beeping vocal.
A few more beeps at that.
Right. A couple here and there.
Yeah.
And the sad part was I missed your Scarefest presentation. All 8 people who were working the Live Paranormal table went, leaving me there by myself, which is a standard for our operation. Is very it's no man left behind does not apply to anything that we do. It's all every man for themselves. LiveParanormal.com. That should be our standard tagline. But I do.
You're the big boss. You've got a responsibility.
I do, and just it's sad because I miss everything, and sometimes it's not even by choice. And I only say that because I joke because we were at a convention earlier, and I was doing an interview, and no one came and told me that I was going to get locked out of the presentation. Instead, you just stand there and get locked out, and I took offense to that. And we did multiple episodes on the video in regard to No Man Left Behind, but you know why bring that up now and have the feelings resurface?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Everybody's drying their eyes for Rob right now.
I know. That is so sympathetic.
The WouijaCon post wrap up show, and I believe you'll get the details. That archive is available on LiveParanormal.com right now, and it's touching, sad. You know, it is what it is. But
that's right. But I'm putting your links within the chat once again, so everyone can know where to harass you, because I think it's important. They can send you one of those awesome messages that you get, and yeah, you guys know you get some whoppers.
Some great emails. And, you know, that's the whole thing, though, too, is I tried, even though I'm terrible at responding, this is another thing about me when I talk about needing an assistant. I'm terrible just at responding to anybody. You can ask Rob that. He knows that better than anybody. But I do love getting emails. Like, I put my email out there. I tell people to send an email to john@weirdlectures.com. Like, that's my email address. Send me stuff. Or, you know, the fact that just find me on Facebook and friend request me. That's fine. Now, whether or not I'll ever talk to you after that, I don't know, because I'm higgly-piggly on everything. You know, in our internet era age, I don't have Facebook or Twitter on my phone, so unless I'm sitting in front of my computer, I don't know what's happening when everybody else is, you know, I'll post something on Facebook, and then I'll look 3 or 4 hours later, and people have asked me questions, and it's too late to answer. And I don't think people realize that there's still old men like me that only have the internet access when they're all sitting in front of their computers only.
Well, it's better than if you only had internet access when you went to a library, because I think that's a step below that. So, or if you have like the old block phones, that's cool too. Or
the bag phone is where it's at. Don't lie.
Yeah, I wish. I found one when we were moving that it was from like mid-'80s. I tried to get it activated, and they looked at me like I was crazy. I thought it was funny.
Apparently, like, we can't do that.
No, they're like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'll pay anything.
That's the No-G network. Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It does amaze me when I see doctors with pagers.
I know. It's like, really?
Because it's like you think that by now they would have just given the doctor a phone for the
right.
hospital, but
no. Instead, they pay for both. They pay for the phone and the pager because it makes so much more sense, right?
Right. And I was looking like pager service, like at one time, like pre-cell phone. Like if anybody remembers pre-cell phone, like when it was all just pagers, like. It got to a point where it was really cheap. Like they'd give you a pager and you paid like $4 a month to have a pager service, and it was super cheap. Now it's like super expensive. Now I think it's like $100 a month to have a pager service because there's only one like satellite that still does pager service.
Well, I would assume that the doctors now still have the pagers because it would do away with the paging doctor so and so, and you can't take that away.
Right, that's so ingrained
Grey's
in
Anatomy
everyone.
would be screwed without that. Like having that ability to reference.
Right, you can't reference paging Dr. So-and-so, and that's the reason why they keep it going. I might be inaccurate on that assumption, but I would say...
I'll look into it. I'll research it.
It may be pretty accurate, so you check on that for next show. Yeah,
not a problem. I'll research it.
That's something people like to say, paging Dr. So-and-so. And you take those
pages... On
On
the next Paranormal Spotlight Radio, with the history of pagers and why we still use them. Look forward to that, guys. I am. Oh, my.
I also forgot to mention that if everything works correctly for this weekend at the SuperCon, my father will be making a guest appearance.
Awesome. I feel like I know your parents.
Oh, yeah, everybody will be able to enjoy the frustration and love which is my father.
You know what the sad part was?
You post reality.
Earlier in the day, I had told my father he can't come. And then John was like, hey, I'm bringing my dad. And I felt really guilty. I'm like, you don't want to come? Yeah.
I think more than anything, my dad is going to this event to drop me off and get away from my mother for the weekend.
Right. That would be why my dad would want to go, too.
We can get him Splash Lagoon tickets. It's located right across the street. Go to the water park. I don't know if that's his thing, but I guess I'm plugging the...
Splash Lagoon. Yeah.
He does have Splash Lagoon.
I don't do public water. I'm sorry.
So like going in a public pool and eating bologna sandwiches like out of your...
Yeah, I don't do public pools. Usually I am, no thank you. I'm a snob when it comes to that, bologna and bird.
Well, you know what, there is actually a lot of stuff going on in Erie this weekend, so if he's looking for something to do outside of attending the premier paranormal convention, there's a lot going on. I think there's like Erie Shores, and, it's being right on the lake, there's a lot of... fun things. Events going on.
I think that at least for the attendees, there'll be enough going on at the convention for them. For my father, on the other hand, who knows what he's going to do? He's going to go all over the place like a madman.
I wouldn't say he's out of the place, but
you never know. He might end up talking people's ears off. My dad, I learned how to talk from my parents, so he might show up and just sit down and chew someone's ear off for 4 or 5 hours.
I want to talk to him. I could talk really long and well too, so I could at least.
He can be like
he can do a straight up weird lecture on my youth growing up.
We could do that.
There you go.
We can
I'll
make
talk
that
to him.
happen.
I'll interview him for LPTV. Got it.
Depth, sit down.
Yes.
I have no secrets. Anything he says is carte blanche. He can say anything he wants to. I have no secrets.
Me either. Just let it out.
Say that now and wait till we air the special breaking story on LPTV, which is Live Paranormal Television. But yeah, I hope he comes. And, if we find him interesting, we might even give him a lecture spot. He could be like the fill-in guy. You always got to have one fill-in guy in case, like, someone gets sick or someone dies or, just tragedy. You need a fill-in.
Oh, gosh.
So that went dark really fast.
I know. How morbid. What if he wins the lottery and he's like, yeah, screw that. I'm going to some island where I could see under the water.
I'm saying he could be the backup guy. If someone doesn't show,
he could be the fall guy. He could be the backup.
Yeah, the backup lecturer.
That's a new title.
He can tell everybody. He can tell everybody about drag racing cars in the 1960s and chopping wood for his wood stove up north.
Love it.
Topic irrelevant. As long as we have someone who can get up there and talk, topic irrelevant. That sounds like perfect. 1960s drag racing, perfect. So,
I like drag racing, and I like cars from the 60s, so count me in. I'm
Well, he's all yours then, because me growing up with it, I'm you know how a lot of people are raised Catholic and then turn away from it as they get older. I was raised in 60s muscle cars, and as soon as I was old enough, I turned away from it and never looked back.
Well, there you go. See, I was raised near it, but I went to Catholic school, so of course I had to be into the muscle cars. So yeah, send it my way. Well, I'll talk his ear off. He'll talk my ear off, and then I won't be able to hear anybody else at the ticket booth. So that'll be perfect. I love it. Sounds like a plan. But I am skipping out and coming into your lecture.
What was that?
Every person. She wants to get out of working and come to your lecture. And she said that about every single person that's called in. I think she just wants to get out of working.
So let her get out of working.
Thank you.
You're the boss.
I put John on this
You're the boss.
one. I think John is cool.
Make the call, Rob.
I don't know. This is putting me on a spot. And
that's right.
I don't know. I think we should flip it. So
I love it. Rob,
John, when are you coming back to Live Paranormal with your monthly broadcast? Well, we split the awkwardness.
Oh, my goodness. My monthly broadcast was a disaster. Are you kidding me? It was all live from me sitting outside of a bar.
What's wrong with that?
I don't see anything wrong with that.
I'm sitting in my garage right now.
I flipped the attention away from me and brought it on to you. So
the hot seat transfer.
Rob is
famous for it.
We can now transfer it on to her if you want. So
bring it.
I think the broadcast was awesome. I really liked it. So if you ever do want to come back, the door's open.
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird. When I did my first podcast/radio show, that was in 2005 or 2006, and I really do for a long time. I even with Realm of the Weird, which I did for a year and a half, which was only 13 or 14 episodes. I loved doing it, but now I'm to the point where I just love listening to radio shows and podcasts. I don't think a lot of people know. I sit in chat rooms quietly and listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't think people know I'm there, and I kind of like that. And like hearing people just speak openly, and I don't know if I'm really meant to be the host of a radio show.
Well, it's funny because I'm the complete opposite. I don't like listening to radio shows and podcasts, which is bizarre, isn't it?
It is very strange.
I'm just teasing. Because and then you can always, there's a lot of good shows, especially on Live Paranormal. So hopefully you spent 99% of those times on Live Paranormal, and you have some kind of handle that we don't know when you come into the chat room, like Cindy 101, really John Tenney. That's you don't have to know.
I'm a researcher, so there's some deep stalking that goes on.
Right.
That's right.
And now when this thing 24 comes in, we're going to be like, we wonder if that's John Tenney.
Ms. Thing, yeah. Oh, my gosh. I'm so making that name tonight. I'm sorry, guys.
Well, it's been, it's great having you on. I don't know how much longer you have because I actually told you to come in for about a half hour, and I think we've tied you up for about 54 minutes so far. So
that's right.
I've already lied on that duration. So I guess
whatever you guys want. If you have any questions or anything, ask me, and then I'm out.
I owe you 24 minutes already. I'm not really sure if I want to tack on too many more, but we got you. So when it comes to, I do have a couple questions that people have asked when I put the thread up.
I'll give you a solid 10 more minutes.
Okay. Well, we'll only take up 9, because then we'll feel like we didn't invade your space.
He's got an extra minute you owe him. He likes to work that way.
Right.
Yep. We're like giving. We're caring. We're only going to take 9 minutes of your time away. But I did, whenever I put stuff up on Facebook, I get people who ask questions on my Facebook for the guests. And I guess we'll do this, maybe just ask a couple of those questions, little fan interactions. But it would be better if they actually came to the Paranormal Supercon and asked you in person, but we'll still do this. When it comes to, like, you're investigating the paranormal, obviously you have a different mindset than a lot of people. And you mentioned earlier about not really watching some of the paranormal shows or, whatever in that regard. So when it comes to investigating, like, what techniques do you actually agree with or try to that you use, or compared to something you might find ridiculous or something that's not warranted? I guess the question that people ask is, like, technique-wise, what do you believe in that is an actual way to possibly catch paranormal evidence, since it's obviously, you don't know, but when it comes to your rule book, what's something that you actually will use and you find reliable?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because I developed over the past almost 28 years now just a protocol. I still have clients that I take on. I have 3 right now that I work with, but the protocol that I work with is really laborious, and it's information gathering more than anything else. I mean, if someone contacts me, we have multiple contacts either by phone or email exchanges now. Used to be letters, believe it or not, back in the day, but there's multiple contacts. And then if it seems like something is warranted to start investigating either their home or an experience they're having, then I start researching genealogy of the family, history of the family. I've 2 of the clients that I have right now, I pay for them to go to counselors and therapists, and I still haven't been to their homes yet. It's a month-long, if not year-long, or years-long process of investigation before I even get on site to the location, and trying to determine everything and anything that could be going on before I get there and, claim that there's something supernatural happening. I mean, the majority of the time, if you take your time and do your hard research and pull topographical maps and old plat maps from locations that you're going to, you find out where everything's at. You pull the former ownerships of the homes. This takes time. A lot of people will get a request and immediately run into a house, and they're basing their experience of investigating in a home off of minimal interaction with the people who are already in the location, and so you go in with a certain amount of bias, and that's not something that people do on purpose. It's just something that happens naturally. And over the years, I just am very slow and methodical. It's the reason I don't have a lot of clients, actually, is people want an immediate response to their problem. And if I am investigating something, I'm doing it as thoroughly as possible, and so it takes me a long time to investigate. So, I mean, that's something I do. I don't use a lot of devices. I mean, if I do use devices, it's to use them in a manner for which they were meant to be used. If I use an EMF detector, it's to check and see where there's high electromagnetic fields in the house, or where there might be dirty electricity sneaking through an outlet, or but I don't use a lot of equipment. If I do an EVP session, I tend to use analog cassette recorders, which are what I've used for the past 28 years and have always seemed to work best for me. So yeah, I mean, I'm very old school. I one of the reasons I don't watch a lot of shows, one of the critiques that I have, even with my show, is that people get the idea that you just immediately run to a location and investigate it. And I don't think you get a lot of usable data and information by doing that.
Well, I agree with you on that one. I don't even have a follow-up because when I agree, you gave me no follow-up. So I'll move on to the next one. I'm trying to pick on which ones here. Someone had asked why they sometimes see you as just John Tenney and sometimes they see an E and an L there. So they want to know what that stands for.
Oh, sure. All the Tenneys in America are related, Tenney. We're all distant cousins through one common relative. And when I started working for television shows back in the 90s, just as a researcher and as a writer for shows like Unsolved Mysteries and Sightings, there was an actor whose name is John Tenney. And so when I was doing things professionally, it was better for me to separate myself from him so people wouldn't get us confused. They still get us confused to this day. But E and L is just I'm named after my father, John, his father, Elmer, and his grandfather, Leonard. So I'm just John Elmer Leonard Tenney, and then the EL is just so people can figure out what's me and who was the guy that was married to Terry Hatcher.
Right, so it's not Spanish for the...
No, not at all. Even though some people have done that, I've showed up at conventions, and there's been a placard that says John L. Tenney, John the Tenney, which I guess is fine by me, but...
Right, V. Tenney. It would be V. Tenney because obviously that would classify.
Exactly, V. Tenney.
I like that. That's what I'm going to call you, V. Tenney. Because there's no other one. It's just V. Tenney.
Most people just call me Tenney, actually. It's pretty funny. The John being so common, usually at events you'll just hear people screaming, when they want to get my attention, you'll just hear Tenney come across the entire thing.
It's not as proper as V. Tenney, though. I like that. I mean, if you said there's, with all the Tennys out there, if you were Z1, that's quite the honor.
It sounds a little too hoity-toity for me. I'm not the most upper-crust, classy guy in the whole world, even though I somewhat seem to be sometimes, but I think that's just because I'm a little shy and odd, and I don't mean to put off that air, but V. Tenney just sounds a little bit too formal to me.
A little much, but... Well, it's been 8 minutes, and I did have one more question, so it's up to you if you want to answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Now, and I actually had this presented to me today on air. I went and did a promotional tour for the SuperCon, and I had to sit and think about it for a second. And the question was asked to me is, with the paranormal, there's no really set answers yet. It's all guess, and there's not a lot that we know for sure. What do you call, your panelists or people who come out? Are they enthusiasts? Are they experts? Can there be an expert in a field that doesn't necessarily have any confirmed answers? Because some people, some theories and stuff, it's hard to determine if they're accurate. So when you talk about the paranormal, do you use the word expert? And then for the fan base, do you call them enthusiast, hobbyist? What would be your ideal term to use? I guess that's kind of the question for myself, I always just call myself a lecturer or a monologist, just someone who talks. I do think that you can have experts in this field. I think you can have experts in any field. Dependent upon knowledge, time spent in researching and investigating, the amount of information and data that they give back to the community, I think that you can have an expert, absolutely. You can have, an expert lawnmower, and it just means that they've done it for, 30 years, and they know how to do every lawn, and they know how to hit every curve, and they have a good knowledge base as to how to do it. I think that too many people jump on the word expert as though it means something. I've done this. I've had people call me experts. I don't have an expert in the paranormal. I'm an expert in the historical context of what paranormal phenomena is. I would call myself an expert in that, but I don't know
I'm a veteran researcher at the point. I'm getting to 30 years of doing this. But most of the time I just call myself lecturer. I think titles are very wonky sometimes. In our community, you have a lot of doctors and PhDs, but their doctorates and their PhDs have come from non-accredited schools, or there are people who are licensed and certified that are just being licensed and certified by other people who are giving them license and certifications. If someone listens to every episode of Realm of the Weird, I'll send you a certificate of weirdology. It doesn't mean that you're actually certified to do anything or that you've studied anything. And so I think that, people should just be happy with who they are, happy with their knowledge base, not try to be an expert in anything, and a genuine passion, true love, understanding, and openness to strangeness will eventually make you an expert, whether you want people to call you one or not.
Well, that's definitely well put. It's really to each their own. I was just trying to relay the question as much as I could break it down. And I think, definitely people are enthusiasts, or, I don't know if hobbyist is the correct term when it comes to paranormal researchers and whatever, but, if you have a definite passion, I think it's something that is good to explore, the passion, and this platform gives you a way to, our event or websites, and not even, LiveParaNormal.com, which I obviously run and I endorse and love and put my hard work into probably 40 hours a week. But there's other websites out there that you can get information from, and I think, as long as we keep doing that, it gives people a platform to find information and, keep
for sure.
Keep the research
and
alive.
Like I said, it's weird when you say expert. How do you mean expert? Like I was saying, if it comes down to it, I truly believe myself to be, and probably if you asked other experts, people who are credentialed or recognized as experts, I consider myself an expert lecturer, but I only consider myself that because I've done thousands of lectures to hundreds of thousands of people over the past 25 or 26 years, almost 28 years. And so just doing it over and over again, I've gained a certain amount of expertise in doing lectures. But again, it's just these ways that people qualify and quantify who they are. I'm very happy with who I am. If no one ever called me an expert, that's fine. I wouldn't care. I know it in my brain what I'm an expert on, but I would never proclaim myself to be one because I really don't care about the title. I care about exchanging and sharing information with people and constructing new ideas with them. That's what's truly important to me.
Well, being V10 is probably good enough, Well, I definitely appreciate you calling in. I look forward to seeing you in 3 days. And that's definitely been a pleasure.
3 days away. It's sneaking up fast.
I keep saying 6 months, and that's not relevant anymore. And I keep thinking, hey, 6 months. And then she's like, hey, you know what? You got it next week. Then it's 3 days. And right, I'm probably calling Thursday. Like, hey, 6 months from now we got the Paranormal Supercon, and it's going to be tomorrow. I don't know. Apparently I've been abducted or something, and my mind only goes, and I keep thinking I've been 6 months away.
I had nothing to do with it.
No, there's something true. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. I love it.
Well, thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Will see you shortly, and I definitely appreciate your time. And your extended
All right, I will talk to you guys and everyone that's listening in 3 days.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Well, that was the lovely John Tenney. And, it's always
the
dashing, lovely V Tenney. And he's a fun guy. It's always good talking to him, so I'm excited to see him in person. I'm excited to see him and the other fantastic people, the other lovely people who will be at the Paranormal Supercon. Both the vendors and the attendees. And I'm excited to see the attendees. I think everyone who I met last year is coming back this year, which is a good sign. I had people come and did not come back last year, and they're like, we had a crappy time. That would would be.
I didn't hear that once, though. I did not hear that once. All I heard was people saying what a great time they had. And, I don't think they were just saying that to be nice, because let's be honest, people really don't really care to be nice to me most of the time. People actually aren't very nice to me a lot of the time. And nobody had a complaint. And, well, I tend to be the complaint department for most people. So, no, it was a good time.
Well, being an expert complainer, I think that would qualifies you as the complaint department.
I'm an expert in nothing, and I only make myself an expert in calling people out who claim to be.
Expert
complainer.
Expert swearer.
Let's not go there, because you know what? We will have some words said that won't be very friendly, and I don't want to make that.
Well, being an expert swear word user, I think that would only be natural. But
that I might classify myself as.
I'm pretty sure expert in multiple uses of the F word.
That's right. And before I drop any, we better go ahead and let's not get you started.
So long not to have to mark this as an explicit show. Why start now after our guest is already?
I have had one explicit show. I've had one.
Was that the F the mother effer show?
No, it wasn't even my fault. It wasn't even my fault, actually. It was the I was at an event. It got out of hand. It got out of control. It was crazy, and it was marked adult.
We've ruined people's careers here at LiveParanormal because of interviews. I'm just kidding. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But anyway, back to the Paranormal Supercon. It's great. Yeah, like you were saying, there really was no complaints. The only complaint that I got, and I had brought this up earlier, was a gentleman said he was cold. Now, dissecting that, I don't think that's a legitimate complaint. I think it's
called get a sweater and get over it. I'm sorry, that's just my way of thinking. That's why I don't own it. That's why I don't run it.
Right. Now, he's like, I had a great time, but I'm going to tell you it was a little bit cold. I'm like, okay. So the complaint department fielded one complaint that it was cold. So I'm going to go with a successful event if that was my only complaint. And, I'm looking forward to see like I said, the people in attendance who keep the events going and wanting to come out, and I'm excited to see them, the guests, the vendors. It's going to be fun. We fine-tuned the lineup today, and it's really the lineup was the same. We added in a couple people. We've snuck out to a couple of conventions over the past probably 3 months, and we've picked up a couple people who we could not deny speaking time to, because they're either really friendly or really awesome speakers, or maybe both. And so we had to kind of rework it around to add in some other people, and I think that goal has been accomplished. So we have no breaks throughout the 2 days. Both rooms will be going nonstop, and breaks are for babies. That's what I always say, and so I'm running my event that style. And we're not taking a break in either room. The vending room would never have a break, but there's a couple of downtimes in the lecture rooms, not during the same time, but we're just going to run them consecutive all day long, both days. So it's still 38 speakers, and it's a lot of information.
It is. So get your brains ready. Start. Get your breakfast prepared. Get everything ready. Get your pens
and papers.
Because you're going to take so many notes, you just might run out of pens. Like your ink will be gone.
Yeah, you might bring 2 pens, or 2 pencils and a sharpener, because you're going to get that first pencil all the way down to the bottom. It's that much.
Definitely. Oh yeah.
We can actually probably sell folders and pencils. We'll have to run out and maybe do that, because it would be great. They would pick up a couple extra dollars, because there's that much information. And all kidding aside, though, the lineup of speakers is great, because it's so many different topics within the term paranormal, and metaphysical too, and psychic. So we have ghost hunting, we have UFO, Bigfoot, metaphysical, some psychic presentations. So really, there's something for everybody, and and really, you can pick your perfect day, because you can pick and choose.
Pick your paranormal poison because it's up to you.
It is. And then
everything there is great, a perfect potion.
You can buy one of John Tenney's remaining 5 T-shirts, or I recommend buying one of the new Live Paranormal T-shirts that we will be debuting for the Paranormal Supercon, or one of our prints that goes for a special price if anyone's a VIP, or you can buy it if you're not a VIP. But everyone's a VIP in our hearts, just that they have the VIP pass. Let's make that clear.
Most definitely.
Right. Everyone's a VIP in our hearts. But if you don't buy the pass, you don't get in. So we have a special print that we're going to be selling that's limited to 100. And that print you can get autographed by everyone in attendance. And we have a white and black version of our new Eat, Drink, and Live Paranormal by LiveParanormal.com T-shirts that was the brainchild of Niki Paranormal. And we ran with it, so hopefully that shirt debuts specifically for the SuperCon. And if we have any left, we will sell them online, but I don't know. I think it's going to be a hot ticket. I was just sad they didn't come today for my TV stuff because I wanted to wear one, but I finally did break down and wore a Live Paranormal T-shirt on a production, which apparently is common knowledge is I do a bad job at. So I want to thank everyone for leaving their comments that I finally wore a Live Paranormal T-shirt, which if you look at the picture I posted on my Facebook of me doing my Wizard World presentation, I'm wearing a Live Paranormal hooded sweatshirt. So they're unwarranted. Occasionally I may not wear a Live Paranormal T-shirt, but it's out of control by thinking I don't. And I want to thank Niki for telling me to wear the Live Paranormal T-shirt because obviously it was a good idea.
I know. If you listen to me more often.
Last night you're like, hey, don't forget to wear that Live Paranormal shirt, dummy. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you need to wear your Live Paranormal shirt. And actually, I had my stuff all laid out to go, and it was not my Live Paranormal shirt. So I made the adjustment, and it worked out really well because on the entire segment you can clearly read the Live Paranormal. So it was a good call. But sometimes on these productions, though, they won't let you wear labeled T-shirts. I have been able to sneak them in here and there, but sometimes they make you, just go with a standard color T-shirt. So, no, but it's always nice when you can work with it. So what do you think we should cover here with all this stuff going on with the SuperCon for the remaining extended 13 minutes we have?
Why don't you talk about the investigations, because those are definitely a hot ticket item, and it's a limited availability. So if you are lucky enough to still be listening and attending, you want to go ahead and get those. So why don't you tell everybody about them? Yeah,
there's not much availability. I'm pretty sure I checked right before the show just because I had a couple people ask me about them, and they did not purchase them yet. So there's really, I think, about 12 tickets that people... there's 12 people who want tickets, but there's only 4 spots. So it's first come, first served. We have 2 investigations that are part of the Friday-Saturday deal, which is Friday night is at the Hemingway Ballroom at the Ambassador Center. We're going to do a special investigation group spot with Chip Coffee, and then we'll do a little free-for-all for the remaining hour, and that is from 11 until 2 a.m. on Friday. And then on Saturday we have a $5 investigation that will be at the Waterford Historic Complex. And that's 3 buildings. It's the Eagle Hotel, the Judson House, and the Historic Waterford Museum, which is cool because there's a lot of relics from the area and the wars, and it's the great theory of, items having attachments, it is a very relevant theory, and this place has a lot of great relics. So, that's a surefire. Don't miss that. And the Judson House, last year we did it, and there was people running out screaming. They got so scared, which was bizarre, but apparently they saw a full body apparition, and that has happened multiple times, and it's great. Niki was not available to witness any part of the Judson house last year. I had her in the basement, which she's told me was not the most desirable place to be at the Eagle Hotel because she felt like she was stuck in the basement, which she literally was. So you got 3 buildings, the Eagle Hotel, the Judson, and the museum for Saturday night. And then Sunday, if you're a Live Paranormal follower, you know at Live Paranormal TV we have been to the Kingsville Library and Old Schoolhouse multiple times, and we will be back doing Live Paranormal TV, and we are selling a few tickets for that event so you can come out and actually investigate the spot that we've been to multiple times, and I'm looking forward to all those.
Me too. Can't wait.
Probably looking forward to not be stuck in the basement again this year.
I was just at Pennhurst bringing everybody a live investigation from the outlet. Therefore, I was around enough dust, dirt, grime, and all sorts of debris and native with sinus-wise. I don't think that it would be very good for my breathing to do that, because I think you kind of need a warm body to do the investigation that I'm scheduled to do for Sunday. So let's make it so I can breathe a little, please.
All right, maybe the attic this year. Or maybe the Judson house. Well, maybe the Judson.
I feel a little ill. Maybe I won't make it at all.
You get the black lung.
I probably already have it. I'm working on it right now.
You never know when you get the black lung.
Yeah.
Sorry, whenever I can throw in a quote from Zoolander, I can't help myself.
Yeah, it's a very popular movie amongst those within the paranormal community, actually. I know Grant Wilson was doing his impressions of Zoolander. It was rather enjoyable.
Well, and our guest last week, Dustin Perry, I didn't realize that he was a fan of the Zoolander quotes as much as I was until we were both in Manhattan in the green room and had a miniature, I guess, scale model of the building. And I looked at him, I was like, what is the Center for Ants? And he's like, oh, man, Zoolander, that's the funny movie. He's like, I love using those references, you know.
And I have to thank you for that, Rob, because you actually opened my eyes to the Zoolander. That is Zoolander. You've opened my eyes because I did not see that until you recommended it.
If you don't know about it, yeah, you don't realize what a great movie it is for stealing quotes from.
This is true. It's a great movie.
It's really fantastic for quotes.
It is. It's not really paranormal whatsoever, but it's a great movie. No. Check it out.
But on a daily basis,
surprises with your quotability at the Super.
The quotability is high.
That's right.
There's a certain movie, especially the ones that I like, that I think are really good for quotability. You know, is the storyline good? I probably don't. You know, probably not. You know, but are there quotes that you can take from it? I think is a lot of times what I look for in a movie. So, you know, when we talk, I occasionally will bring up something from Tommy Boy, Zoolander. You know, some of those are quality quotable movies. Storylines, not so much. But
right.
Not really sure that's radio appropriate discussion because we kind of trailed off into something irrelevant to SuperCon, but maybe we can do a screen. It does happen. Especially after you've done a whirlwind tour of promotion. Towards the end of the day, I think you kind of phase out. I mean, I can talk about SuperCon all day long, but at a certain point it kind of...
We usually do, actually.
We do talk about SuperCon a lot, and so I'm concerned about we'll have nothing to talk about once we're done with the event.
Oh, well. It's been nice knowing you.
The 2016 version. Because that's going to be great.
If I can take the punishment.
It's not that bad. It's fun. Plus, it's rewarding. Just seeing the people come and the shirts, the excitement, getting there, and then it's like Christmas morning for the attendees, and that's what really is the most rewarding part.
That is the most rewarding part, I have to say, most definitely.
And I'll be honest with you, I'm not really I've appreciated it. I've gotten a lot of, there's been videos that have been posted this week about people being so excited to come, and I definitely appreciate that. And we're trying to circulate them. I've had like 4 or 5 people make videos or post videos about being excited to come to SuperCon. So, that's definitely cool. And I know we're going to deliver. We're going to deliver a quality paranormal event. And you should, if you haven't checked it already, ParanormalSuperCon.com. And there's a lot going on. And I think we need to spend the last couple of minutes talking about even the psychic portion, how we have so many people doing readings, and I really, we're doing the, what do we call it, the Super Psychic Fair as part of the Paranormal.
Yes, yes.
So if you're, in what we're going back to, we're trying to talk about how we're offering something for everybody. Some people, like to go saying stuff. People might just come out because they're interested in getting psychic readings and talking to a psychic. So, we have almost like a mini psychic fair within the Paranormal SuperCon. So we have the Super Psychic Fair, which is part of the Paranormal SuperCon. And saying those together, I realized how much super wording is in that. And it's hard to say, but I like it. Super hard to say.
It's definitely super fantastical to be such a part of such a super fantastic, awesome, super duper, con.
Or as Dustin has renamed it, the Super Duper Con.
That's right.
Which, funny enough, I got a text from him today when I was in studio, and it was a picture of the Hindenburg flying past the Empire State Building, and it said, "I'm on my way," which is an
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
It was. He's excited to come.
Did you predict that?
Yep. I'm on my way, and there's a picture of the Hindenburg flying past like the Empire State Building. It's great.
That's funny.
It was
That's
funny.
Definitely funny.
And,
well, I'm looking forward to it very much. I think it's going to be an awesome time, and I've got to start packing. I mean, I'm not even packed. I'm still got to go through everything I've ripped apart at Penhurst, so I've got to get all my equipment ready. Pack, which I'm a girl, it takes me a while. But, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I hope that everybody goes and secures their tickets for the investigations, because I just think the investigations are awesome because of the small number of people. It really gives a real investigation type feel, unlike some of the other events that I have been a part of that were, way too many people. It really didn't feel like an investigation. It kind of felt like a walkthrough talking tour.
That's definitely a point I did not talk about, and I appreciate you bringing it up, is
I did earlier on the show earlier. Yeah.
You'll never have over 10 people in a group with us. It's something that I don't believe in. When you do group investigations and public investigations, there's always going to be contamination. But we try to bring that down as much as possible. So when I go out and look at a place, we never have where 2 groups will contaminate each other. So that element is already thrown out. They're separated far enough.
I actually have gotten evidence from investigations that we've done in the group setting atmosphere of LiveParanormal's group investigations was not contaminated. Usually I wouldn't even consider it to be a find, and I actually have some really great finds because the people who were there were just so content on, and just on focus, and they were having a great time, but they were doing exactly what you're supposed to do, and it was pleasurable to be a part of, because I've been a part of some that have just been disaster. So it's very refreshing, and I'm definitely looking forward to it.
We go out and actually check the place out and do the investigation beforehand, and we also try to find out if we will get contamination. So, we went and did the Hemingway, and we physically did the investigation ahead of time. We're like, hey, can we get 2 groups in here? And we could not. I didn't feel comfortable doing 2 groups, so we limited it to 16 people in one large room. And if it was some of these other, I don't want to say too much, but I just feel like obviously we could make more money and do it that way, but it's really doesn't give it the great experience, because if we had the two groups of 10 and 16 people, you would hear each other, and it would contaminate evidence. But now we will only strictly do, that's a huge ballroom. So we figured we could fit about 16 people in for a chip coffee demonstration, but we're not having it separated. And so any of our investigations, we go and we check it out, and we make sure there's no contamination. And we keep them small. Financially, we could make a killing and sell many more tickets, but we just don't do it. And I think it gives it the most legit experience out there. I'm not saying we're the only ones to do it that way, but there's a lot. There's a lot.
We only have 10 seconds, so we are probably almost done. But thank you, everybody. Head to ParaNormalSuperCon.com to get your tickets. Thank you. Sorry.
Have a great night.
Bye.